Hello, 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 hello. How are you? How are you? How are you? How are you? Hey folks, it's Pastor Andy here, and as you can see, I'm keeping my social distancing here in the auditorium. I'm here at Heartland, and the auditorium is empty. We cleared out all the chairs. Some of you even helped with that because we were getting ready for voting this past Tuesday. Of course, that didn't happen here in Ohio. But I'm here, and it's very empty. It's kind of lonely. And you know what? It should be. In Hebrews 10:25, the writer of Hebrews says, "Let us not give up meeting together, as some are in the habit of doing, but rather be encouraging to one another, and all the more as you see the day approaching." Well, it's empty and lonely in here, and I don't think it's just because there's no chairs, but it's because you're not here. And I don't mean that to be overly sentimental, but there's something about us as the body of Christ that ought to feel like something is off if we can't get together, if we can't assemble. Now, I realize that we are experiencing what many around the world experience all the time. Most of the time, that's for political reasons. But for us, in our situation, it's impossible for us to responsibly get together in a large group. And so what does it mean when we say, let us not giving up meeting together in the midst of this and to be encouraging to one another? Well, first of all, we can stay connected through technology. I'm not sure how this would even be possible in decades ago, but thankfully, we've got the technology to be connecting through video, through Facebook, through texting, through email, through all kinds of apps and other things. And so we want to be doing that with each other, with our neighbors, with our friends, family, and everything else. But there's a couple other factors that this situation brings as a challenge to us as Christians. One is being able to gather together. But another one that I just want to bring up is this is a time when God is going to be challenging all of us to be more self-feeding. What do I mean by that? Well, when I went grocery shopping, and I've been grocery shopping a few times in the last couple weeks amongst all of my friends, and in the middle of that, there's things that are just decimated, right? I joked with one person that it kind of looks like we're in Venezuela here after all the news stories on that in the last several months. But bread aisle, wiped out. Water aisle, wiped out. Toilet paper aisle, wiped out. Meat section, wiped out. Dairy section, wiped out. Milk and cheese and everything else. Do you know what else was gone that I noticed? The entire section of ramen noodles. The whole section of ramen noodles in every store I went to was completely wiped out. Now, how many people do you know that when they go to college, or they get their first apartment, or they get to a point where they're finally on their own, and what do they eat? What's the stereotype? What do you hear about? Well, ramen noodles. Ramen, 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 ramen. It's become so popular, there's actually ramen noodle restaurants. But I'm talking about the ones you get for 49 cents, you put water in it, you heat it up, and that is your meal. A lot of people eat that, not because they can't afford something else, because they don't know how to make something else. They're not self-feeders. And some people get into the habit of coming to church simply to be fed, and to be fed, and to be fed. Amongst other things, and I'm not trying to pigeonhole anybody, but this is definitely a time when we need to be able to be self-feeders. We need to be able to get into the Word ourselves. We need to be able to navigate our way through the Bible. We need to find good resources that are trustworthy, that might speak into and build into our lives. And those are things that we mention fairly frequently. On Sundays, you see them in our classes that we offer, the resources that are out there. But what I want to encourage you today is not to just go on autopilot and coast. The church is not on vacation. Believers are not on vacation. In fact, I saw a meme the other day on Facebook that was pretty cool. It's even being made into shirts now, where it says, "The church has left the building." And that's very, very true. So as we figure out ways to communicate, stay connected, to gather together in order to stay connected, we want to do that. We want to be self-feeders. We want to be reading good books, getting into the Word, making sure that in our idle time we're not just filling it with garbage. We don't want to go on autopilot. And if we're able to do that, then when we do get back together, when we are able to get the chairs set back up here and be able to assemble and lift our hearts and voices together in worship and then get into the Word, everybody will be coming in at a higher platform because of the self-feeding that's been going on during these weeks. If you have questions about ways to be feeding your own soul, to be motivating yourself in your walk, to be propelling your relationship with Christ in the midst of not being able to physically get together, I want to offer to email us, heartland@heartlandlex.com, or me personally, A Bear. My name is Andy Bear, so it's A Bear, and Bear spelled just like the animal, B-E-A-R with an E on the end, abear@heartlandlex.com, and we will be happy to come alongside and provide resources that will be good to feed your soul during this time. And so, friends, let's listen to the writer of Hebrews. Let's not give up meeting together as some are in the habit of doing. Let's not check out, let's not tune out, and in today's day, let's not log out. I hope you're encouraged by this. If you have any questions about anything, now is a great time to throw them our way. I'll be looking for questions to answer during some of these daily updates, so you can also use those emails for that as well. So before we get done for today, just a couple things. Shout out to everybody who joined us last night for prayer meeting live. I think we had over 50 people at one time or another join us in prayer for different things. Consistently, we were in the mid-20s. And that is awesome that you came together and did that. So shout out to everybody who did that. And then a reminder that this Sunday we'll be live streaming again at 10 a.m. We're going to be out in the foyer of the main building, just out this way from where I'm standing. And we're going to have our worship team. We're going to have a message, and it'll be a great time to stay connected and not give up meeting together. We hope it's encouraging as we all continue to look forward to the day of the Lord's return. Thanks. Have a great day.